around this time, my watch just fell off. Around this time last year, I made a video called Hey Dalu Part 2. The idea was really, I thought I was finished off Project Phillips. So I just kind of wanted to do something in the feeling of a finale, if you will. And I did like a quick couple of questions that I started this new series where I would ask myself these questions every year, right? And I'm just gonna go through them, answer the questions. So you're gonna see me reading off from my laptop because there were some questions I asked that, honestly, looking back, did not make that much sense if I want to get this done in a quick video. But you know, it is what it is. This morning, I'm just gonna read off the questions. This morning, I woke up really tired. Then heading to the bathroom, the door fell on my head and hit my head. It's been one of the best mornings in a while. What's been a recent moment like that for you? For me, honestly, I think maybe this is recency bias, but I know I got into this kind of debate argument with my hall counsel about approach to an event we wanted to do, right? And honestly, I remember when I was sending like the initial text, I knew I was gonna start an argument. I sent the initial text, I was nervous, like I was actually shaking, and that was kind of bad. It looked bad on my part. I was like, dang, I might just scare people. But I do think, as much as I don't want to admit it, I do think I have this fear of approval, right? And that's something I've often struggled with for a while. Because I've been very fortunate in my life to have a lot of people. I don't want to say a lot of people like me because that sounds weird, but I've been fortunate to have people who. I've been fortunate to be in positions where people were favorable of me, right? And I think a big fear of that is losing that favor, losing that approval once you do have it. And I think that's something that this kind of like, after I did, I was like, okay, like it sucked for the first couple of minutes, but then after a while, I was like, okay, really, if I really want to do something, if I think this is the right way to do something, I'm gonna do it despite approval, right? If I have to lose the approval of people, that's just gonna have to be an unfortunate consequence of it, right? But yeah, that was one of those recent situations where it's like, at first it kind of sucked, but after a while it did. I'm very happy it happened, and I'm really grateful for it. Okay, next question. Before I start asking questions you already have, what are you thinking about? I was thinking about my New Year systems. Like, so I'm actually going to do New Year goals. I'm going to go a bit farther into that later on. But for my New Year's resolution, I'm not doing goals. I'm trying to do like a system. Um, in addition to that, I was also thinking about what my life goal is, and that kind of it correlates to the systems because I was thinking, well, the systems, the goal is to try and produce the person I want to be by next year and like further on. Then I was thinking about like, what do I want like for my life in general, right? Because often I've had like stuff to work towards. Like for example, in high school, I was working towards getting like a good GPA, going to the college I wanted. Right now, like for the first semester, I've been working towards like improving the dorm, stuff like that. Trying to get an internship. But like, what's the bigger picture for all those goals? And that's what I was thinking about before I started answering these questions. What project am I working on now? I'm working on a lot of projects, so I'll try and keep a few and focus on the ones that can like define as projects and less as roles. So Fresh for Less, which is a startup I'm working on. Green Path is another startup I'm working on. Leadership Conference, that's a conference I'm working on, I guess. AI podcast, that's kind of 2025 stuff. Research into teachers, this is one I'm a research assistant. Research into teachers' perspectives on AI as well as how to use AI to help Black girls. So those are some other stuff. But yeah, those are a couple of stuff. I'm also trying to plan this new event in collaboration with like the with NESB and the Hispanic engineering group as well. Okay, what's the next question? What project do I want to be working on? Honestly, I want to work on more AI projects, like specific something like that's more retrieval augmented generation, which is basically, just to sum it up the best way I can. It's basically like AI is using, AI is trained on a lot of data, but for the retrieval augmented generation, what it generates is based off your data, right? So I want to try seeing what I can do there in different fields. So maybe in animation, it could be working with in between frames and seeing how that works, or just maybe like a local AI from my laptop. I want like work on a document or something like that. So like I do often feel like when I ask AI to help me write stuff, it doesn't write it in my style, which is always a problem. Actually gets me very annoyed. Um, but yeah, so maybe something. I just want to do something with retrieval augmented generation because I think it's a really cool. I don't know if it's a field, but I think it's a really cool idea or area. In addition to that, I also want to try and do some more human-computer interaction projects. I don't know. I just think it's a really cool thing. I do think it would be cool to play with. Right? I remember I built like this tech amulet with like an addict, I think. It was just nice to play around with my free time. So maybe something like that. Something I did think about when I was in high school was having like this cool gauntlet that was like a speaker that you put on your arm. That might take longer to build, but I want to try delving more into the area of human-computer interaction. So that'll be really interesting. What's something I really want to get? Money would be money would be the easy answer, but I'm gonna try and actually be more serious with this. So maybe an internship, or really just more hands-on experience with coding, or yeah, just more hands-on experience with like more hands-on technical experience, as well as better relationships in different fields. So I do think that's something I'm working on now. It has gone well in the first semester, so I'm hoping to keep that energy in 2025. What's my dream? Be a Kingdom Man superhero. That feels like it seems weird to say, but I think that's the best way I can describe my dream right now. I'm not going to actually break it down because I feel like that's going to take some time. So I'm just going to move on to the next question. What's your biggest fear that you have to face soon? Right now, I'm doing some college application stuff. I don't want to get too much into the weeds of it, but my biggest fear with that is just facing rejection again, and I think that's gonna suck. I don't know. I think it will suck. I don't know if it will suck as much as it did the first time, but that's my biggest fear right now. What's a question you wish for me to ask you? My thoughts on the year would be really cool. Just how I've grown and what changes I've noticed in society or different fields, and what changes I think will happen like the year after. I think that'll be a really cool thing to add to this series. How's everyone doing? Is anyone new? What are they like? People are doing well. I think everyone's really growing a lot. Like people are doing what they're doing, but doing more. Some people have gotten jobs. Some people are working on new personal projects that are really exciting that I'm really invested in. But yeah, people are doing well. They're just really exponentially growing, I guess. It's kind of cool. Like the whole cast is really like stepping up into the next playing field. In terms of new people, yes, there are new people. Still getting used to them. I don't think that like the old people, I think my relationships have grown more with them. I think that's what the focus has been more on instead of like developing those new relationships. But there are definitely new people I'm getting to know, and they're really awesome. They're different, but they're awesome. So I think it's really exciting to see how that's gonna shake up in 2025. Okay, now this was one of the questions I did not like because it was hard to come up with. Give me 25 ideas right now. I remember when I typed this question or asked the question, I was thinking it's gonna be really easy. It was not because it just wasn't. Okay, so let's start with it. App using Notebook LLM to create a podcast. Notebook LLM is a Google's new AI thing that just helps like with working with files. A feature it has is to create podcasts. So something I'm trying to do with the systems I'm building for 2025. It's kind of like just having an app that you just upload a file into, and then Notebook LLM creates a podcast of it. There's other services that I could probably use because Notebook LLM doesn't have an API as of now. So I could try using another service, but I really trust Notebook LLM. So I'm debating with how I'm going to approach that idea. Second idea, anthology series following different characters who go to the same church. Third idea, treasure hunt in the mall. So basically, like you have a list of stuff you have to find in the mall or purchase in the mall. That could be a fun friend group activity or family activity. Fourth idea, Jubilee online. The idea is like just Jubilee. If you know what Jubilee is, Jubilee, but like just you do your own Jubilee with random people you meet online. So it could be like a topic and you get like these questions, or you should build your own room and then people join. It'd be a really cool social experiment thing. Fifth idea, actual podcast you record as you shower, like shower thoughts. Not gonna explain that too much. Sixth idea, game dev idea where you don't get caught by the cameras. This was for a game that I actually want to try to participate in, but never did. But I think it would be really cool just to have something like that. It could be like with paparazzi, like you're a celebrity, but you lose if you get like any picture of yourself taken, or it could be something like where the camera's trying to follow you, so you kind of have to hide, anything like that. Seventh idea, programming, Pinterest, but for programmers, self-explanatory. Eighth idea, printer that can use newspaper. I still don't know what this idea means fully, but I remember seeing it in my notes, and I do think it's worthwhile looking into. Ninth idea, this is a dorm idea. Install a machine that you have to give a quarter to get. You have to give a quarter to get ping pong paddles and the balls, but once you return them, you get your quarter back. This is just for Sutherland specifically. Something we're having an issue with is that with the ping pong paddles, they get destroyed, and the balls get destroyed as well or go missing. So we're trying to figure out how to invest in them without losing money, right? So maybe having some kind of incentive to keep them in good condition or not take them would help. Another thing we're also looking into is having the security guards having to like maybe give your ID or something of value to the security guards as a trade for you taking the ping pong paddles and balls. What else? Spotify anti-filter. This is like just to show like I really don't want to listen to this type of music if I'm doing like a shuffle. 11th idea, Spotify should have transition options. Yes, I like this idea. Just maybe like a fade in or maybe like some kind of like DJ effect. I think it'll be really cool. 12th idea, an educational game throughout educational game series throughout American history. I do think that could be really cool. 13th idea, VR think tank / hub and VR chat. That would be really cool. 14th idea, filters for social media. If you just want tech videos, just show me that. Yeah, I think this is something that I've been really confused about for a while now, because I feel like the algorithm shows you what you're most likely to engage with, but sometimes the algorithm gets it wrong. But personally, another cool thing I would like to add to the YouTube algorithm, for example, is if I just want to see like tech videos, right, or I just want you to recommend me these type of videos, let me customize that myself, right? Because I think it changes. Maybe I'm trying to go really deep into a certain field, so maybe I want these type of videos to be recommended. And right now, the only way I've been able to do that is by forcibly doing like sometimes I'll have a playlist of just tech stuff or something in the field, and it's like autoplay through it all of it, and then it starts recommending me stuff in that field. So I'm trying to hopefully there's a feature like that soon, or maybe I could try building an extension, something like that. Where was I? 15th idea, module in, but like for tech, so you get a real world problem and you have to create a tech solution with a minimum viable product. 16th idea, Skeets, is basically taking from the popular character Booster Gold from DC Comics, his robot, but you can't implement that in schools. You have like an actual physical robot that uses facial recognition and AI to kind of give unique compliments to the students and the staff. Basically, the idea is to build up self-confidence and just kind of a positive energy in the school. It could be maybe not a physical robot, could maybe just be like an AI. But I feel like if it's just a digital thing, it kind of takes away from the immersion or just like the relationship with it, because it just feels like, oh, it's an AI bot. But if it's like an actual physical thing, then it has like an eye animation. It could build more of a repertoire between the students, the staff, and the robot. What else? 17th idea, portals for schools to connect with other schools around the world to build a global mindset. This is self-explanatory. 18th idea, the flash ring style compression, but for clothes and mini cubes. For those who don't know about the flash ring, basically the Flash is a popular character from DC Comics. One of his cool features is that he has this ring that basically his suit is compressed into like on a nano level or wherever, and then it's basically shrunk like that. So maybe something like that, but for clothes. It's probably not going to be on the nano level, but like maybe if I could somehow shrink my clothes into these mini cubes. Like I wonder how much can I compress like these clothes I'm wearing, because I really do have issues when it comes to packing. So I'd really love to look into that and see if I can if I can save more space by shrinking stuff down, by compressing them. Okay, what's the next idea? This is a movie idea or a series idea. A journey across the multiverse of a father and son, mother and daughter, mother and son, father and daughter, however you want to do it. Preferably animated. And for those who are thinking of everything everywhere all at once, not like that. Preferably, like it goes to different universes, which are really unique. Just in the ideas, how they work, the physics, stuff like that. And you kind of actually explore them. I was thinking maybe you could have like the parental figure being the one to pursue the child, and then it goes to like these different universes, and you kind of be like that. You can explore the relationships. A cool song that I think that could be played through, like a song adjacent to it, is "Just a Man" from the conceptual album Epic. I think that would be really cool. Where the next idea, the 20th idea is organic technology, like phones that integrate plants somehow. I think it'll be really cool. I think that's something I haven't seen a lot of media. Maybe Scavengers Drain is the only one I can think of, but just seeing more like technology that kind of embeds like this organic, more like biology into it. I don't know, like maybe more designs akin to biology, like veins or something like that. But I think it'll be interesting to see. So something along those lines. The 21st idea. This is a theme park idea. A Flash and Atom roller coaster, like a bullet train shrunken down to follow the Flash as he fights the Reverse Flash. I think this could have some really cool. You could take this in a lot of cool directions. Pun intended. 22nd idea. Food subscription service, where you subscribe and you can get meals from any store in relationship with the company. Under a certain price for that duration of the subscription. So think of like maybe for those who are in college right now, you have like a college meal plan that allows you to get do like meal swaps with certain restaurants. So something like that would be really cool. 23rd idea, modern guilds like fairy tale. I'm not going to explain that too much. 24th idea, town glow up initiative, basically build up a local town, engagement, as well as improve pedestrian walking. I think a lot of the US, and this is more US specific, I guess, a lot of the US, I feel like it's really hard to walk to places. So something I was thinking of is just like, take a city for example, and like building the towns, or just take multiple towns and build up those towns and improve the walking. It's like, it's kind of like this cool, if for one day I want to walk town from town, it would be really cool to kind of have that. And I don't know how to best explain it, but it's a cool idea I want to explore more in 2025. And that idea, as well as terraforming, I think that's something I'm really interested in. 25th idea, AI personalized website tools from all my news sources and shows me updates and what I'm interested in, as well as key insights I might want to look farther into. I think that'd be really cool. Have like a Jarvis type system that kind of does that. This kind of actually goes into the system thing I'm talking about for 2025. Give me 1 second. Okay, the second elapsed. I was just checking if this is still recording. I blame myself for the length of this video. I should have planned the questions better, but we're going to go through with it. 26th bonus idea, because I was on a roll. An app for voting with friends and family. Basically, if we're deciding on where to eat, it creates a room for us to vote in. It seems overly complicated, but I do think it could help in a lot of situations. So that's my 26th idea. Next question. What's the problem you're dealing with right now that you would like to talk to me about? Really, I'm trying to figure out my life goal, or where I really want to work towards. Like, what's the big outcome I'm looking towards? Next question. How would I have dealt with it? I feel like me last year would kind of, honestly, I feel like you would have prayed. I would have prayed and just watched, like, I would watch anime, as nerdy as that sounds. So just to like get ideas. I feel like a lot of my stuff, I think, is really in the television I watched as a child, like the ambitious ideas, or just a lot of, I guess a lot of ideas or sentiments I really got from my childhood and watching TV and reading my Bible. So those are a couple of things I would have done a year ago. Okay, next question. How have the trips been lately? Honestly, the trips this year was honestly crazy. We went to Japan, which I think could sum up the question, but I'm gonna talk about some other places. Went to Japan, went to Tokyo, which is in Japan, and went to Osaka, Universal Studios, as well as a new Nintendo World in Universal Studios Japan. But leaving Japan for a second, we also went to Chicago. We went to Pennsylvania. I live in Pennsylvania kind of now because I go to University of Pittsburgh. But we went to Philadelphia for a conference. Honestly, it was just crazy. It was honestly a crazy year for trips. We went to Japan. I mean, you already said that, but like that was the dream trip. So that's amazing. Where do I want to travel to? Still Japan, but maybe a cruise or Sweden or Switzerland. But Japan would be really cool. Next question. What's my New Year's resolution looking like? I'm actually looking more into systems, as I've said before. The ideas that systems will force me to become the person I'm hoping to be, right? Think of any system, think about sports. In sports, let's take basketball or soccer or football, whatever you want to call it. A system I think of is when you guard players, it forces the person with the ball. If I'm guarding the person's teammates, like my teammates and I are guarding Barcelona's players, right? As a Barcelona player with the ball, you have less options, so it forces you into certain paths, and I think that's how I want a system to work in, like not in that sentiment, right? It forces me to do certain things or to become a certain person by doing these stuff repetitively, or by changing what I do. Then it forces me to see stuff differently or be more invested in different stuff. Next question. What are some cool things I've done this year? Gone to Japan, made a podcast, did a collab for Project Phillips, which was really cool. Made an AI movie teaser trailer, made an AI song. That's too many AI stuff. But I'll go on. I started doing some NLP work, natural language processing work. I did a hackathon, which was amazing. I still have not talked about it. I went to a career fair. I won the presidential election for my dorm, which was amazing. Did a fashion show, did a Jubilee event, did my own Jubilee event, I should say. Went to a Modern conference, went to New York, did sword fighting in Japan, which was really cool. Went on a bullet train, went on to a Google's headquarters, went to Gecko Robotics headquarters, went on Beach Week, which was amazing. Saw Hamilton the musical, gone to laser cutting and made some cool wooden coasters for amazing staff in Sutherland. What I think is really crazy, just to take a second away from reading this whole document, is a lot of these stuff are just few of the stuff I actually did this year. It's just some stuff that popped in my head really quickly, and I think that's why that's why I was like earlier when it asked, or later when they asked, I have no idea where I am in the questions, but I think this year has really been an amazing year. I think I'm really fortunate to have lived such a life. I know I say this a lot, but it has been amazing, and it's crazy. I can just say these stuff like right off my head without even looking into the year. If I went through my photo albums, I'm sure I'll see like thousands of all this stuff I've done. But it's crazy, and I'm really, really, really grateful for this year, for everyone who was involved, to God. But yeah, next question. What are some cool stuff I've helped out with? Honestly, the first one that came to mind was doing the interview for with my friend who has a YouTube called Strength in Christ. Really cool stuff. But honestly, actually, wait, before I get to that point, I did this thing where I was trying to like compliment people more. Cause I was thinking about how, as the average person doesn't have that much self-confidence, so I started this challenge for myself where I had to do 100 compliments, each one original in itself. And they do 100 compliments. I think that was something I guess you could consider helping people. But this year, I feel like there was nothing necessarily big that I helped people with that I wasn't directly involved in, which I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, but that's something I find interesting. Next question. There's a question I want to ask, but I feel it's funny if you remember and answer without me asking. I think I do remember the question. If it's the question I'm thinking of, it's no. But I also feel like I have a different question in mind. I think it's crazy because it's not so this chain reaction effect where each year after it's just gonna be farther and farther away from the original question I had in mind. So I think that's interesting. But next question. How's it going? If it's bad, I recommend watching One More Day. It is going really well, as I just mentioned. But One More Day was an awesome video. I think I'm in a position where I can do a lot of good, and I'm trying to figure out how to go best about it. What else? Tell me, oh gosh, 20th question. Tell me 25 new things you've learned or some new stuff you want to learn. I've learned some NLP techniques. I've gone more in depth into Java, calculus, Python, GD script, laser cutting. I've learned how to do some butter making stuff. I learned some Adobe Illustrator designing skills. I've gone more in depth in my teaching skills. I want to learn how to build local AI models. I want to learn how to speak and read Igbo. I want to learn how to learn how to speak and read Japanese. I want to learn how to fly a plane. I want to learn how to drive. I don't know why it was in that order, but it is what it is. I want to learn more about investing. I want to learn how to do wood carving. I want to learn more about how to do character animation. I want to learn how to direct. I want to learn how to better edit videos. I want to learn how to better build human-computer interaction technology. I want to learn more about algorithms. I want to learn more about retrieval augmented generation. I want to learn how to play an instrument, preferably guitar. I want to learn SQL, React, C, C++, JavaScript more in depth. Yeah. Next question. Project Phillips started out with a promise. What promises am I working to fulfill and why? Funny enough, Project Phillips. Why? Honestly, I just love the project. I think so much of who I am and what I do and want to do is encapsulated by the project. So that's why I've still been doing it. I still haven't found an ending that I'm satisfied with the project of, but I am working on that into 2025. But I think that's one of the biggest promises I'm working to fulfill. But yeah. Next question. 22. What's the quote of the year? Okay, so what's the quote of the year? I only want original ones. There are some runner-ups. Some of them are gonna sound a bit nerdy, but I just think when I think of quotes, I think about them in different applications. So some of them could be used in a show. Some of them could just be used in my daily life. It is what it is. Be a hero who can save the day tomorrow. I think that's maybe a show one. This is one of my favorite ones actually. Pessimism is one of the many masks of ignorance. Okay? This one could definitely be used in a show or just real life if you want to use it. Because you can't stop where I am, the drill of progress that pushes forward despite all resistance. I remember when I created that quote, I was on, okay, let me give the context. So this was after like a 24-hour campaign for the dorm election, where I was just putting up flyers, I was campaigning to people door to door, wherever. And I stayed up to 6 a.m. And I noticed I had like this nagging suspicion people were taking down my posters. So as I was finishing up my campaign at 6 a.m. in the morning, or I think it was 9 a.m. in the morning, wherever it was, I was coming down. I found a post I just put up recently had been taken down. So I got really pissed off. I knew what was going on, sent some emails to our resident director. I was thinking about if it was an intentional thing, and then that's how I came up with the quote. But yeah, that's the context for the quote. However, my number one quote of the year is, let me read it perfectly. Stop trying to prove who you are and just be. Right? I think it's a simple quote. I think it applies to a lot of what applies to me a lot. I think I'm trying. Sorry. I think sometimes I try to prove I'm this or that, but I think at a certain point it becomes a waste of your time and everyone's time to try and prove who you are rather than just being that person. There are definitely other quotes, I'm sure, but those are all the ones I can find in my notes. 23rd question. What question do I have for next time? I think a question I would want to do for next time. What's something new about you this year? 24th question. Great job. Great job, by the way. Until we meet next time. Also, you owe me 15% of what you have right now, so just have that saved. Okay. Okay. I don't think that's a question, but that's all the questions from last year. I really do think I want to keep the series going on. But yeah, I'm happy I answered all those questions. It was very hard to do with the 25 questions. I don't know. I asked for 25 new things, but in short, I do think this year was amazing. I'm really grateful to God, my family, my friends, everyone who supported me throughout the year. And yeah, can't wait to 2025. Can't wait to answer these questions again with the new question of what's something new about you this year. Besides that, I have nothing else to say, so have a great day.